Did I completely waste my money on the Gel Nimbus 24 and should I return it? Let's talk about that. So instead of the traditional first impressions review videos that you may see on YouTube, I decided to do, should I return this shoe? Because I do buy these shoes all by myself, and there are a lot of shoes that I buy and I try and then I return because, well, they're a lot of money, and if it's not going to be up to par, I'm going to return it just as fast as I bought it. The weights and stack height of the shoe are going to be on your screen right now, but let's talk about this midsole a little bit. The FFBlast Plus compound is really awesome. They still have that gel compound that we've seen in all other 24 iterations of the Gel Nimbus. It's Asics traditions, and I do respect them for keeping the gel, but as we'll talk about here in a few seconds, I don't know about the gel, to be honest, for my liking. They've also updated the upper quite a bit, but the biggest update for me is the tongue here. The tongue is like this stretchy knit material, and I wish that they'd make an entire upper out of this thing because it's just so darn comfortable. They've also made a couple of changes to the outsole, but nothing massive in my opinion. So those are the notable changes in my opinion. How does it perform? Oh yeah, and as we go through this, you have to keep in mind that this shoe was 210 Canadian dollars or 160 US dollars. That's not a fun time. So the upper is quite fantastic. It has a very premium feel to the hand, but I mean, you're not gonna be feeling the upper when you're out there running, but how does it feel on foot? So like I mentioned, the tongue is absolutely amazing. It's a full gusset of that stretchy knit material, and if you like padding on your tongue, well, this is not the upper for you because there's essentially no padding on the tongue here. The fit through the toe box and all that is very streamlined. You don't feel like there's a bunch of extra material. It fits like a glove on my foot. The heel cup is reinforced, and that made the lockdown so darn good in terms of my heel and ankle area. I didn't feel like I was slipping around at all. And actually the lockdown of this upper overall was just absolutely fantastic over my 4 runs or 30+ kilometers so far in this shoe. And a great thing for me about this upper is that it's not extremely plush. I'm not a very big fan of those uppers that feel like a big old blanket around your foot. I like allowing my socks to do the job of keeping my feet warm, but if you do like a little bit of a plush upper, not the one for you. But I will say, now that we're moving into those summer months, I think this upper is going to perform absolutely fantastic. It's not the most breathable, but it definitely doesn't soak up a bunch of sweat and add a bunch of heat to my foot. That's my initial thoughts anyway. So overall, the upper is performing absolutely fantastic. I have no real complaints about this upper after the first 4 runs. And now on to the real exciting part that I know you're all here for. I heard you yelling at me through the camera to talk about the FFBlast Plus. Just give me a second, we'll talk about that right now. So this midsole, like I said, has that new FFBlast Plus. That's a mouthful, and I probably tried like 10 times saying that, but I finally got it right. So they have the FFBlast Plus midsole running through the full length of the midsole here, but they also have a couple of different technologies going on as well. So first off, they have this gel here in the heel area, and that's meant to absorb a bit more impact, but in reality, it just makes the ride less exciting for me, to be honest. They also have this trussing system going through the midsole here that is very present when you put on the shoe. Like, it really feels like it's digging into your arch, and essentially it's just like a even more hard piece of gel. And also I think they have gel running through the forefoot here as well that I can feel, but I can't confirm because I'm not going to cut this open just yet. And I couldn't find anything online, but there is a combination of that FFBlast and gel going on in the midsole here, and it does a pretty good job at making this shoe feel fun. But like I said, the gel, let's talk about that for 1 second. So this midsole has a lot of things that can make it super magical and super fun, but there is a Voldemort in the room, and the Voldemort is that gel. Like I mentioned, the gel through the heel here just makes the ride feel less exciting. You really feel, when you're first landing, you feel all that gel just like, I don't know, it just feels not exciting, not exhilarating, and it just stabilizes the ride a little bit, which is good. But the FFBlast Plus that you get in the forefoot, and when you hit that part of your stride, oh baby, you just wish there was no gel in this midsole. And like I said, the trussing system is really present on the arch of my foot. Now, I will say once I got out there running and did a couple of miles, I did notice it. So this shoe has a lot of inherent stability, which I very much appreciate because I do need a little bit of stability. As much as I don't want to admit it, I just need a little bit of stability. But I don't want to buy all those built up, bulky stability shoes that are just plain gray and looking like orthotics. I don't really want to wear those. They're not as comfortable for me. So if I can find a neutral shoe that has a little bit of inherent stability, that's my usual go-to, and this Gel Nimbus 24 has a lot of that inherent stability. So if you're someone like me that needs a little bit of a stability shoe, but you don't want to buy a big built-up stability shoe, I think this could be a good option. The ride has been extremely stable. And I know it was a little bit tough on the gel here, but that FFBlast Plus in the forefoot makes up for it. When I'm going on my toe off, it just feels like I'm bouncing along. Not actually, but it does feel like it's giving a little bit of a pop on the toe off, which is very much appreciated. So overall, I'm really enjoying this midsole. It could be better if there was no gel, but I guess that's why they have the NovaBlast. The NovaBlast is like all the bounce without the gel. I think that should probably be the NovaBlast slogan. And for the outsole, there's a good amount of coverage, not too much, not too little. It's performing well. It's AHAR plus, so it's pretty good. And now the question you've all been waiting for. Will this thing be getting back to the store and I'll be getting my 210 Canadian Monopoly monies put back in my pocket? No, for a couple of reasons. Number one is I've done 4 runs in it and it's kind of dirty, so I can't return it anyway. But also, I am really enjoying my time in this shoe. The biggest frustration for me is honestly the price. 210 Canadian dollars or 160 US dollars is completely unacceptable for running shoes. But the reality is, unfortunately, I hate this reality, that I think that's going to be kind of the normal moving forward. $150 to $170 even is going to be pretty typical, I think, for really reliable and durable daily trainers. I think unfortunately, that's kind of where we're gonna have to expect. Now, there is the Ride 15 that I just ordered as well, and that's coming in at 170 Canadian dollars or 130 US dollars, something like that. And that also is a very durable shoe from my past experience, although they have changed up the formulation in the midsole. But we're gonna have to put the Ride 15 and the Nimbus 24 head to head to see if the $40 premium on this shoe is worth it, or should you just go and buy the Ride line? I think it's gonna be a very interesting video, so you wanna subscribe so you don't miss that video. But if you're someone like me that needs a little bit of inherent stability, you like an upper that's not extremely plush, you get a great lockdown, I think this could be a great option for you, especially for those first-time runners just looking for a shoe that they can wear for hundreds of kilometers and get out there every day. I think this is one of the best choices that you can go for right now. But again, that price, a little bit tough to swallow. If you want to hear a bit more about the Asics shoes I have, here's a video I did talking about all of my collection. Thank you folks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button down below and subscribe if you want to see more running shoe and running related content. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.